Today I'm going to talk about vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Okay. The Lord God. I say this to say that people, if you keep that, if you keep that in all capacities of your life, because times will come to where you want to retaliate. But please, by all means, don't do it. Now, it's different if you have to defend yourself, meaning physically. That's a different story. You don't let nobody just beat the shit out of you. You just don't do that. But you ain't trying to invoke it. You ain't being the one that's making people hit you. Well, no, you shouldn't be. Because if you're following God's path, if you want to do what God has for you to achieve what He has for you, you're going to always try to do the right thing. And in doing the right thing, that means you're not out there provoking people. You're speaking your truth, but you're not invoking people. So some people do. The devil don't like when you speak truth. So some people take it as you coming against them. So if you're speaking truth, you're not really coming against no one. You're just speaking truth, and everybody knows it's truth. And it's your truth. I put it like that. And if God is in you, He gonna let you speak your truth if you follow me. But anyway, not let you, because I don't want people coming back with that, but the truth will be in you because you know yourself. But vengeance is mine, said the Lord. That means you don't try to get people, because the hole that you dig for somebody else, let me tell y'all, you try to dig a hole for somebody else, you falling in that. Because that means you didn't let God handle it. Because when God handles things, He gonna get it back way better than you can, because He control it all. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to understand. Put your trust and faith in Him and let Him handle it. I always would do that, even on my job, when people come up against me for no reason, because I always, like I said, I never want to see people hurt. I've been there, done that before. I feel like I've been hurt on a lot of spectrums, you know what I mean, in life. Which hurt is fine, because that's how you learn, you know what I mean. I say all the time, you can't think of what happens to you is not happening for you. It all depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at it as happened to you, then you'll be a victim. But if you look at it as if it's happening for you, you'll be a victor. You'll have the victory, because you'll come out stronger, because you didn't let whatever that was stunt you, keep you stuck, kill you. You rose above, and you became victorious. So you know what I mean? But you got to have God in it. You got to let God guide you. You can't think it's all you, because it ain't never all you. Yes, you may have put forth the actions, but that's because God is inside of you, showing you what to do, guiding your steps, if you allow Him to. And so you become the victor. But if you let the devil guide you, you're doing the other side, in the shadow side. Because, what's done in the dark comes to the light. So you're in your shadow side, the devil side, like saying, I can do this, ain't nobody going to see me. Then you following him, and you become the victim, because you allow the devil to guide you in the wrong place. So you're going to still have to call on God to get out that place, depending on how God see fit. But either way, if you just go with Him in the beginning, you ain't got to worry about that other side. Now, it gets tough, because we always have the devil and the angel on our shoulder telling us what to do. It's an everyday, constant battle all day. Sometimes you get tired, and then, because you got forces coming up against you every day, whether it be in your kids, that spirit getting their kids, and they just won't do right. Or shoot, it's the financial aspects of your life. You ain't got no money for this, you ain't got no money for that. And you feel like you got to go out and do this, or you got to go, you don't know how you're going to get by. But in that moment, pray. Pray. It gets rough, because you like, I'm looking at this, I'm feeling this right now. Pray. God got you. He going to open up a door, open up a window, send somebody your way when you least expect it. If we just follow it and just know God, He takes care of us. I get emotional sometimes, because God is so real. He's done it for me many times over. I remember when I first got into my career, and like I said, I love to take care of people. That I love to see people get better. I worked in the hospital system. In my job, I wasn't at the tippy top, but I was at the point of a critical part that they needed me. I was one of those people that they had to have in the room. So I wanted to work in the intensive care unit. I worked on the floor for 2 years right after I got out of school. The surgery, just on the regular floor when you come visit somebody. I worked in that area for about 2 years. But I really wanted to be in the ICU because I wanted to learn more in depth and wanted to see how the body works when in critical state, if that makes sense. But I want to, I want to be a part of bringing somebody out of that critical state back into the land of having more. Not more, but if you don't have vitality of life, you don't have life, basically, So I want to see them in that aspect, see where they come back from, because I know God. They say, won't he do it? Won't he do it? But for whatever reason, the medical director didn't want to let me. But I don't want to say. I don't like to call a race card. But there was none of us in the ICU in my position. They all had them on the floor. It's like they didn't want him to go. And then the person that was supervisor over me that just managed us, he was like telling the director, hey, she good, put her in there. Maybe not in that aspect, but hey, she can handle it, you know what I mean? So eventually, I was put in there. I think I was really kind of snuck in there on it by that manager because that medical director was not trying to let me do it. But once I got in there, I became a staple. But even in the beginning, I got in there and probably like a year in working in the ICU, and by then I started to hone in on my skills. I already had other stuff because I started out in the medical field at the totem pole, at the bottom, CNA type stuff, that's what I was, I just rose my way up to this particular position, going to school and what have you, whatever. And so I became, like I said, a staple. I knew my shit. I know how to take care of people. I was the one who talked to people, families as well, because, doctors, everybody knows that doctors are infamous of not having bedside manner. And then you come in a black person sometime in the wrong type of bedside manner. If you don't know how to talk to people in general, you can get a bad reaction, but it's the way you coming at them. You want them to respect you, but you're not coming at them like that. Or the education level, or it's just the mentality in general, but people don't recognize it and just be like, because they haven't had that much exposure to different cultures, so therefore they don't know how to treat them, or they see them on TV and think that that's how they're supposed to be. And it's just when we're all human beings, we all know how to feel, so I always went in with the thing of, I'm just rambling. Vengeance is mine. I said this to say that when I first started out, there was always people coming against me, not wanting me to be here in that particular area where I was working at. But then they eventually, God prayed about it and God handled it. And however God made a way, they were no longer somebody I had to deal with, basically. And I still got to stay where I was. I never had to retaliate. I never tried to tell on nobody, none of that stuff. Because you all know how it is. People go run tell the supervisor this and that, and it's like whatever. But my work spoke for myself. I was always on top of my shit, and the people love me. I got, not to say they love me in that sense. They like the way I talked. You know what I mean? They would talk to them, reassured them, I guess. Because I always spoke from a point of love. Because I never wanted nobody to feel no pain, even when the people would come against me in those particular areas. If something was happening, I feel like shit, regardless of how they felt about me, me as a person, I would never leave them hanging as a coworker, because that just doesn't affect them. That affects this patient. So I push all that bullshit aside. I don't care how you act. If you ask me for something that need to be done about a patient and you're not quite sure, I was there on the journey on the spot. because I didn't want that patient to suffer. I could care less about how somebody felt about me. So that was a good thing for me to learn, because you just have to learn. You got to let stuff roll off your back. And God handles all things because vengeance is mine, said the Lord. And that's the gist of what I want you to understand out of this. We always want to try to retaliate. Don't ever retaliate. But don't ever be a pushover. Don't let nobody put their hands on you, first of all. I just always remove myself from the situation. I stayed, like, especially in my job relation, when stuff happened, and people trying to come at me, and when people coming for you. I just put my head down, kept doing and stayed on top of my shit. Because if you don't stay on top of your shit, then that's a weakness that they can come in at. You do your job to the best of your ability, to the best of your ability. I ain't saying follow that flow. Because if you follow that flow, all they're going to do is replace you with somebody else. They may throw you a basket or a cake or something, your family. But no, don't work. It's because you work for God. You don't work for them like that. So you don't worry or tear yourself out. You can only do what you can do. You're not a robot. Everybody, please believe, because I still work in the sector. But trust. I let God handle it every day. I pray before I go in, and He works it out throughout my shift. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, why? And it's like, wait a minute. Stop complaining. God controls it all. There's a reason why you're here. Most of the time something happens, and it's like, oh, okay. Because if anybody else had been there, this could have went this way. It's a trip. But anyway, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Let Him handle all your drama, all your problems, all your whatever you feel like somebody coming at you with, the devil. But you got to be mindful and know which battles to fight, Pray about it before you even speak, because you already feel it, the spirit coming at you. You already know what's happening. So you ask God for strength, guidance, until this too shall pass. But learn the lesson in it. Understand, what the lesson is, what you need to take. And if you know you ain't done nothing wrong, and it's that type of lesson, ask God to give you strength, like Job. Job know he hadn't done anything wrong. He loved God. But the devil said, let me get at him and see what he do. He said, no, I know God loved me. This is maybe just a test for me to be strong and have faith. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. And there was no vengeance in that. It was just all about faith. So I guess it could be a twofold message. Keep the faith and let God handle your disappointments. I guess that's not the right thing to say, disappointments. Your battles. How about that? Okay. And you'll see yourself becoming the victorious one. Because we all go through seasons. You're either coming in, going out, or getting ready for one. But know with God on your side, vengeance is mine. He got you. You just stay in Him, and the battle is yours. Till the next time. Love you. Bye.